Good evening, everybody. It's Tom Christie back in the painting studio. I had a suggestion from a viewer that asked about wrinkles on tertials and painting wrinkles on tertials. It's something that I do on some of my birds. I don't overdo it, but it's a nice little detail that you can add just in a place here and there to convey life in the feathering of a decoy. So I thought I would put a short video together just focused on how I do that. It's not a difficult technique, but it's helpful to know kind of a sequence of how to go about it. And we'll take a look at that with 2 or 3 different decoys, and hopefully that'll be helpful to you. If you're valuing my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and that does help me out. So let's take a look at wrinkles on tertials and primaries and doing the painting to simulate wrinkles in feathers. I thought I'd start out with just a few reference photos to show you what I'm talking about. These primaries have some wrinkles painted into them on this red-breasted merganser drake. Same with this pintail drake. You can see I just put some subtle wrinkles in the primaries. Same on this shoveler drake. So just giving you a few examples. Here's a hen shoveler. Same thing. Different colors to be used depending on the species and the colors of the primaries and tertials. But I just thought it might be helpful to show a few examples. It's an eider, a drake mallard. This has tertials and primaries wrinkled, and then here's a brant. Now I'm using a little chroma nutmeg, lighten a bit with gesso, to and then a 1/8 inch scrubber. We're going to come in and scrub in just a gentle highlight, follow the path of the split in that feather structure. We're going to create some wrinkles in this big tertial. Just using a little bit lighter value, a little more white. Just hit the tops of these, make them stand out a little more. Taking carbon black, and anywhere there's a highlight, that is a high spot or a bump up. So I'm going to reinforce that by going along the edge and creating a little scooped up shape. It becomes a shadow. Here's one here under that wrinkle. Now I'm going back with a little bit of burnt umber on the scrubber and hitting the valleys. These are the peaks of the wrinkle. These are the valleys on either side, and just darkening those softly. Now to kind of finish the look, I'm going to go along the edge with a detail brush and just follow these wrinkle paths with the body base gray color. It doesn't have to be a continuous line, but we want to reinforce that up and down look. Then I'm just going to take some clear water on a chisel scrubber and kind of drag it through this area to promote more of a blend and just soften everything. Okay, now I want to work on the tertials and put a few wrinkles in the tertials. And we're going to start with the scrubber again and kind of scrub some subtle, this color is the base color that we use to highlight the feathers here, the tertial feathers. So I'm just beginning to develop some highlights and then scrubbing those out to blend them so that they're nice and soft. Anywhere there's a light spot is a high spot. So now I have some carbon black and I want to paint in a little bump up in those high spots. Okay, now I have the off-white. I'm gonna bump that up in that area. Back down, back up here, back down. Now I'm just taking some of this light gray color and just pulling in some feather barbs. I want to create a couple of subtle wrinkles in this, a couple of these tertial feathers. And we'll do that by putting in some highlights from a dark color. And we'll hit light in between to begin to create the illusion of texture in that area. I forgot to mention that dark value was just taking the driftwood gray and darkening it somewhat with burnt umber. Now I'm taking the driftwood gray, lightening it with a little bit of, whoops, that's way too much water. I'm going to leave that in so that you know that I make a lot of mistakes too. And then I'm going to hit the highlight areas with this lighter value. Now that I've created some light and dark highlights, I want to come in with carbon black, and anywhere there's a light highlight, I'm going to call that a hump. And anywhere there's a dark highlight, I'm going to call that a valley, for lack of a better term. So here's another hump. I'm going to put an indication along the edge of the feather that it is bumped up in that area. A very thin line on the edge following the contours of that wrinkle. That little highlight on the edge with the dark shadow underneath really helps convey that it looks like there's texture there. That's completely flat surface, but the paint is conveying that there's a wrinkle. All right, well that was a quick one, but hopefully you can use that technique in some of your own decoys. And again, I would use it sparingly, just as an accent as opposed to wrinkling every feather, because it can start to look artificial or unnatural. You know, most bird feathers are pretty smooth, but every once in a while they do get a wrinkle in them. And if you can find a place to put one in a strategic position, sometimes it really helps convey life in your decoy. So until next time, Tom Christie signing out. Good carving and painting to you.